Hey, what's going on, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm going to try to tackle the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks Western Conference Finals matchup. And the reason why I worded that way is because, unlike the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat series, this Warriors and Dallas series I've given a much less thought. Um, much less thought. And the reason why is because I have a very bad taste in my mouth about the Golden State Warriors right now. I've been on record all over the place in regards to this team. I felt like they could be the best team left. I felt like they were one of the better teams defensively. I've looked at this team and said they have all kinds of different things going for themselves. And other times I see them like, what in the world did I just see? Turning the ball over inexplicably, getting blown out by amazing amounts of points, struggling in situations behind the arc when that's their MO, not necessarily uh, playing the smartest basketball, not Golden State Warrior basketball. You're seeing Klay Thompson struggle, not only just, struggling shooting the ball and things of that nature, but also struggling with just heady stuff, mental stuff, and it's like they've had some key injuries at this point to where they've lost GP2, who's doubtful for the series. James Wiseman's not back, which I think they've managed extremely well. And Jordan Poole in the elbow is something that you're considering with them. So this is a team that's banged up right now, and I think they are limping into this Western Conference Finals. Um, and that is definitely something I'm looking at. I understand that they are a overwhelming favorite. They have home court advantage. They got all the experience. They have the depth, um, you know, edge in this series by a long country mile. Like, there's a lot of things that make you say, you know what, even though Golden State's, limping into the series, you still feel very confident that they're going to put up a good series and will not carry over some of the struggles from the previous one to this one. But here's my thing. they're running into a really legit Dallas Maverick team. This is not a team that is okay. They are spearheaded by one of the best players in all of basketball in Luka Doncic, and by one of the greatest basketball minds in Jason Kidd as their head coach. I'm looking at a player like Jalen Brunson, who has carved out a niche in this league, scoring the basketball inside the paint in unorthodox ways that can't seem to be guarded very easily. I see a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie, who has all the ability in the world, but pops up in a game 7 after not showing up in these entire playoffs and has a game of his life. Has the ability to hit game-winning shots and things of that nature. I see a trio, or actually a quad, of stretch 4 players in Davis Bertans, Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Reggie Bullock, who all play defense and contribute to the offensive end and contribute to the rebounding, um, and seem to be improving as they continue to play against better talent. They're getting better and growing in confidence. So what you're seeing is a team that's coming off a historic blowout, having defeated the best team throughout the regular season in the Phoenix Suns. They beat them by 47. They wiped them clean, neutralized what would be an otherwise unguardable asset for the Suns, in not only DeAndre Ayton but the other two as well, Chris Paul and Devin Booker. They flattened that team, and you understand that you literally just saw the Golden State Warriors get flattened by the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 5. So when you come into this series and you're thinking about these things, you understand that these are two teams that are coming in with two very different paths, having gotten here to this point. Luka Doncic was in a situation where he was down the entire series. His Mavs didn't have a lead in the series that they won until it was won, and he came in with some of the greatest confidence we'd seen in our lives. That rivals some of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he put up numbers that were historic, that puts him in the conversation with the greatest players to ever play this game. And you understand that all he really needs is for his teammates to be involved, and he can win and lead them as far as they're going to go. He doesn't need a whole lot to succeed. He's like a LeBron James in his ability that he can rebound the ball, he can score the ball, he can shoot the ball from long distance. He can get to the rim with it and do things with his back to the basket because of his big size. He's obviously got all types of skill sets and different things that come from his country. He got Euro moves that we don't have out here that he's able to take advantage with. And he has a confidence level that just puts him in a position to feel really good as the moments get more and more pressurized. When other guys' palms are sweaty and clenching their butt cheeks, he's loosening up, talking crap, and shooting the ball over their heads. That's a Larry Bird trait. That's a Kobe Bryant trait. That's a Michael Jordan trait. That's a Luka Doncic trait. And so you understand that they're going up against somebody like this in a situation where he's looking to be in his first Western Conference Finals and lead his team to his first NBA championship. I truly believe that the Dallas Mavericks feel that they can win this series. I don't know that that's going to win them the series, but I do believe that they have all the belief in their ability, and I think that they think they can play good enough team defense and have beat already good enough talent to feel that they can win the championship. And so, if you're looking at this and you're looking at the rosters and you're thinking, okay, they shouldn't be able to do what it is, I guarantee you that I looked at the last two series and said that. I looked at the Utah series and I said Dallas can't beat them. I looked at the Phoenix series and laughed at that. And now I look at the Golden State Warriors and say they already beat a team better than this. This Golden State Warrior team without GP2, they're not better than the Phoenix Suns that the Dallas Mavericks just defeated. But that is not the right way to necessarily look at the matchups in terms of, okay, therefore, no. This is a different team, and because they attack you in different ways, you can't think that way, or it's a trap, and you're going to lose. It comes to this. The Dallas Mavericks, in the series that they played in just now, they were going up against a team that they knew couldn't shoot the three-point shot. Couldn't shoot it at all. Devin Booker's obviously somebody who's capable of hitting three. You understand that Landry Shamet, players like that, can shoot the three and all that. But ultimately, they're not a three-point shooting team. They're more so focused on killing you in the paint. And so what this team did was they forced them to shoot it. You can't do that to the Golden State Warriors. You can't do that to Jordan Poole. You can't do that to Steph Curry. You can't do that to Klay Thompson. You can't do that to Andrew Wiggins. They're going to hit the shot. And so the strategy that the Dallas Mavericks have to come into this series with is going to have to be a drastic contrast from what it is that they just went up against. And the question is, can they win the matchup in front of them? Now, what I just saw was a Golden State Warrior team who pushed the button in regards to putting a player on the floor that they hardly ever use to do what it is that he specifically does, and that changed the dynamic of their entire team. And that's what I saw. They put an emphasis on rebounding the ball. This guy's name is fleeting. Kevon Looney. That's it. Kevon Looney was the individual that they chose to put on the floor. And in that situation, because the Phoenix Suns, because the Memphis Grizzlies were down a man and didn't have their situation together, they weren't prepared for that button. And of course, it put them in a position to win. So what I'm telling you is the Warriors are capable of doing things to you that maybe they weren't forced to do in other situations. Just because you haven't seen them do something does not mean that they can't do it. For example, there's a guy by the name of Moses Moody on their bench that they don't ever use. I think he was taken in the lottery this year? He's more than capable of coming in, hitting 2 and 3 threes, getting about 15 points. And if they give him real minutes, he can have the game of his life in the Western Conference Finals, and you don't even see him coming. These are the type of things that the Dallas Mavericks are going to have to account for. Because they don't have the depth that the Golden State Warriors do, because they don't have the versatility of their roster, they're going to need to be consistent. Guys like Reggie Bullock cannot be 0 for 5, 0 for 6, and he tends to do that. They're going to have to get stuff out of guys like Maxi Kleber. He's going to have to continue to play on the glass the way he has. The Golden State Warriors crashed the glass against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies were a team that crashed the glass in the previous series they were in. They took that strength that the Memphis had and turned it into a weakness. That's what the Golden State Warriors did. In the midst of all their strengths and their weaknesses and issues that they had in that series, the one thing that they were able to do that was extremely impressive was completely obliterate a good rebounding team. So what I'm telling you is, if they could do that to them, they're going to do something like that to Dallas in a different way, whatever it is. Now, the key for the Golden State Warriors, in my opinion, is going to be how in the heck are they going to stay in front of Jalen Brunson? I don't know how they're going to do that. In my mind's eye, it's going to be a lot of Otto Porter. It's going to be a lot of Andrew Wiggins. But if they think Steph Curry's going to do that, that's night-night. That's not going to work. Jordan Poole is very important in this series. He's an X factor to no end, because what I understand is that Dallas Mavericks team, as good as they are offensively, Luka's going to control the ball most of the time, and all of that good stuff is going to be assured that they're going to be able to put points on the board. But he's going to be able to attack them in ways sort of like Tyler Hero does in the other series that you're going to have to account for. You're going to have to understand, if Luka Doncic gets in foul trouble, Spencer Dinwiddie has to keep playing well. He's going to have to score the ball like he did in Game 7 every night. He can't have games where he only attempts 4 shots or goes 1 for 10 or something like that. You need his consistency in a series where scoring is so much more important than it was previously. Golden State Warriors do play defense, but we understand that the offensive side of the ball is where they make their money. Klay Thompson is going to shoot better than he did in the previous series. He's been playing more and more basketball, but he hasn't been getting more so hurt. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Let me express this in a different way. Klay Thompson's getting better conditioned as these series are progressing, and even though he's had his struggles, I don't expect his struggles to continue in the same way that they have. His issues are his body at this point. He has to get used to his defensive ways not being as they used to be. He has to get used to his legs not being as strong as they used to be. Well, the more he plays, the more that's going to be the case. So, has he struggled mightily? Yes. Is he going to have to shore some things up? Yes. But do I expect him to be a massive, massive factor in this series? Of course. And if this series goes to a Game 6, understand that his confidence level is going to be Luka Doncic-like. So, to see those two go up against one another in what could potentially be a closeout game in this series could be one of the greatest things we've ever seen in our lives. I'm just putting that out there. It's way ahead of time, but Draymond said it. I'm telling you, Game 6 Klay is a thing, and he believes it. And the potential for something special to happen, especially given the circumstances in front of us, with that type of confidence that's going to be coming at them in Luka Doncic, I think this series could be amazing in that way. Steph Curry, we know he has godlike confidence as well. We know he believes in himself. It's no question he's one of the greatest shooters, but the problem with him is, low-key, he is dealing with what you call father time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that Steph Curry is dealing with father time. Now, it ain't kicking his butt like in a way that makes people say it's father time, because you ain't hearing nobody say this but me. But that's what it is. He's getting older now, you know, and his legs are not as youthful as they used to be, which means his shooting isn't as consistent as it used to be. Now, he's still the greatest shooter of all time. There are going to be games where he hits 8 and 9 threes, but there are also going to be games where he shoots a very low percentage. And I have gone on record saying that I don't like that the Golden State Warriors fall in love with the three. Now, that sounds stupid because that's their MO, right? I get it. They need to be shooting. But it's the shots you take. Which shots are you taking? Are you taking contested ones? Are you taking rhythm shots? Are you taking early three-point shots? Are the people you want taking the shot shooting the ball? Those are the things that I'm looking at in the Golden State Warriors. That particular thing, I look at and I say that's on Draymond. Draymond's the facilitator. Draymond's the leader in that regard. He got to keep those guys' heads on straight. And if his head ain't on straight, how in the world is he going to do that? They are a team as poised as they are, having won so many championships. We also have seen them unravel in some inexplicable ways, including Game 5, which we've already talked about. That is something that I don't know that Luka Doncic has a problem with. I don't know that he has that problem. It's too early to tell. But judging from what I saw in Game 7, he don't have that problem. Now, his problem is remembering that he has teammates. And remembering that God blessed him with an ability to pass the ball that maybe he didn't bless Michael with. That maybe he didn't bless Kobe with. You understand what I'm saying? He can pass the rock like that. He needs to remember that the only way he's going to be able to get the looks that he wants shooting the ball is to make sure that those guys are assets. And while the numbers don't necessarily back up that, the eye test tells us that he needs to continue to pass the rock and get guys like Spencer Dinwiddie and Reggie Bullock their rhythm shots. And letting Spencer Dinwiddie hold the ball and control the ball in certain situations like he did in Game 7 will be a recipe for success. As long as Spencer is engaged and giving you 20-plus points, the Dallas Mavericks are a very difficult team to beat. Because not only does that put a lot of points on the board, because people are going to score for their team. Jalen's going to get his, Luka's going to get his, Dorian's going to get his. But it also puts him in a position to, of course, as I said, open things up for Luka. That allows him to be even more of a threat because you can't crowd him. Now he's a threat to shoot. Now he's a threat to pass. He's a threat to put the ball on the floor. He's big. It's a lot of different things. But if he's only shooting the ball, if he's going 12 for 32 and everybody else has attempted no more than 6 shots, he lost by 10. He's not going to win that game. He learned that in Game 5. He needs to not make that mistake again. If he can get it right 14 times, he's hoisting the trophy. It's literally that simple. If he can average over 8 assists for the next 14 games, he is going to win the championship. But I do believe that's what it really comes down to for him. His team plays excellent team defense. They are underrated, and people are going to take them. I think what I'm trying to say is I think people are going to come into these games against the Dallas Mavericks, whether it be the Golden State Warriors or if they were happening to get after this series and get to the finals. People are going to look at them with the type of respect defensively or offensively that they deserve. Unless they're watching them, like really, really watching them, and I imagine they are, but you have to respect what they can do. The looking at their roster from 1 to 12, it doesn't tell the story, is what I'm telling you. Because Jalen Brunson accounts for so damn much. He is constantly attacking. He's constantly putting pressure on the rim, as JJ Redick said. You want him to continue to do that. Drive at the rim, layup, layup, layup. He barely misses those. And because you have questionable guards on both sides for the Golden State Warriors, it's going to be a situation where I think he eats. He's going to get a lot of points in this series. He is going to get a lot of points in this series. It's just up to Steve Kerr to specifically scheme against Jalen Brunson. And if he focuses his entire defense on Jalen Brunson, you know what that leaves open? Luka Doncic. And that he cannot do. So now it's going to be a situation where every team that faces the Dallas Mavericks from here on out, this year and the years to come, you're going to have to understand that there are 2 players that you have to effectively stop for the Dallas Mavericks. It's not just one. Because this dude, he attacks weird spots. It's sort of like when you consider how you effectively scheme against DeMar DeRozan. Because he's constantly attacking from the mid-range. If you pressure him in certain areas, it doesn't make any sense. He is the same way, only a few steps even closer to the rim, so it's really awkward. Yeah, so the Golden State Warriors, if anybody's smart enough to figure it out, is Draymond, defensively. But without GP2, do they have the horses while still keeping the shooting on the floor? Because you can go with Wiggins, But Clay and Steph need to be out there, and they cannot guard the Dallas guards at all. So, Jordan Poole's defense is very important. Otto Porter is very important. The Warriors bench is very important. They're going to have to use those guys. They're going to have to let Steph's going to have to run the score up. He's going to have to be efficient with the time he gets. And then in my mind's eye, he's going to have to sit down and let those defensive players come in and play some murky defense to try to disrupt Luka Doncic. In fact, I think this is the series you bring Steph off the bench, just like they did to end the season when he was coming back from injury. I think that's the same strategy that you can use in this series. You want to go bigger against the Dallas Mavericks. You want to use more Jordan Poole, let him do the heavy lifting because he's a better defender. He can also pass the rock just the same to help Draymond in that situation. You bring in Steph Curry off the bench, and you let him hoist up a bunch of threes and kill the second unit. And then you have him, out there to close. If my mind's eye works, you should be able to keep the scoring higher than the Dallas Mavericks. You should be able to win those games that you're in theory. But you got to understand the Dallas Mavericks play a lot of team defense, and those stretch fours are coming in. They're coming in. And when they do, they play defense, they rebound. Dorian Finney-Smith, if he's averaging over 15 points and locking people up, it's going to be tough for the Golden State Warriors to win this series. The Otto Porter matchup between him and is going to be very important. Dorian Finney-Smith, Otto Porter. Otto Porter on the glass. Watch for that. Offensive rebound. He's excellent at that. You got to pay attention to Andrew Wiggins on the glass as well. If you're Maxi Kleber and Reggie Bullock, boxing out, things of that nature, very, very important in this series. You cannot let the Golden State Warriors kill you on the glass. You cannot let that happen. I look at a guy like Dwight Powell. He's overly important in this series. But the thing about it is he going to be obsolete? Is this going to be a situation where the Dallas Mavericks are shooting over his head and they're going to have to remove him? If that's the case, Draymond's going to have a lot of fun trying to guard the perimeter, dealing with all those guys, Maxi Kleber and them. Ankles. Pay attention to ankles. High top shoes and stuff like that, I'm telling you. Because it's going to be a lot of switcheroos, a lot of perimeter play for big players on that Golden State Warrior team. So I am I'm very cautious about this series in regards to that. So this is my solution. Jonathan Kuminga. Play more Jonathan Kuminga. Even though, and this is where it gets kind of tricky, even though Dorian Finney-Smith, in my mind, is going to give him a lot of problems. Because that's my solution. If I see Jonathan Kuminga start going off all these super dunks and stuff like that, I'll put Dorian on him. And I'm going to just create some sort of defensive wall that just kind of thwart that for a time. Not all game long, obviously, but you gotta thwart that. But yeah, that's gonna be very key. I look at Jordan Poole as a very important player once again, as I say, because Spencer Dinwiddie's iffy. So if Jordan Poole's going absolutely off, putting up 30 points, 35 points, that's going to be too much scoring. That's going to be way too much. So, JP being healthy and 100%, playing defense, very good defensively, is going to be important. So yeah, man, I am not sure who I trust more so from behind the arc in this series. I'm not sure. Obviously, I would say Steph and Clay more than obviously you should trust. But they've been so inefficient lately, and they're going to be tasked with guarding some players that are going to be attacking them. So that means they're going to be less efficient in my mind. And that does not work in their favor with their defensive issues in theory. Draymond, so important. Otto, so important. Wiggins, so important. Defense, so important. Team defense for the Golden State Warriors and continuing to rebound the way they did in that last series. So, look, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I like Golden State, but I like Dallas too. This is sort of like the other series. The more I think about it, the less certain I am, because you got factors on both sides that are going to be hard to overcome for both teams. I think the Golden State Warrior depth and those multiple weapons are going to be hard for Dallas to keep up with, especially if the Maxis and the Bullocks can't shoot. And I think the Golden State Warriors are going to have a hell of a hard time with the Jalen Brunson. I think they're going to have a really tough time with that dude. I think this could potentially be a massive series for him. Draymond's going to have a lot to say about that. And if I'm Dallas, I'm going to do everything I can to get Draymond off the floor. Get him off the floor. I want that genius off the damn floor, man. If I'm Jason Kidd, I want him off the floor. I don't care what it takes. Get Dre out of this series. And if you're Dallas, if you can get him out of this series, you're going to win the series, because they can't function without him. I don't care what nobody say. They can't function without Dre. All right? I'm just going to put that out there. They cannot function without Draymond Green. So, as I say that, I look at this and I say, I really do like Dallas. The more I think about it, I like Dallas. Why? Because I look at Luka Doncic, I say he really is ready. But the only problem with Luka is he's one man. He suffers an injury, this series over immediately. And I don't think Dallas has that problem. If Steph go down, I'm not sure the series is over. I definitely like Dallas for sure, but I'm not sure the series is over, because I'll put Jordan Poole right there. I have Wiggins come off my bench, play my shooting guard position. I got Moody coming off the bench. I got Kuminga give me easy buckets. There's more depth, way more depth. Something happens to Luka Doncic, we're talking about, Trey Burke getting more minutes. Talking about guys like oh, what's my man's name, man? Frank Ntilikina is going to be more so a part of this thing. By the way, he's important. Don't think he's not. He's important. He's a defensive guy who's going to be tasked with guarding people like Steph Curry. Pay attention to Frank Ntilikina. He's important. Jordan Poole, he's going to be out there. But I don't think that they can withstand injury like that. They do play well without Luka. We saw them do it against Utah, but this ain't Utah. this not Utah. So, conditioning, being smart with your timeouts, being smart with everything that you do, which I know Jason Kidd will do. He's definitely smart. So, yeah, man, the coaching matchup is excellent. Steve Kerr versus Jason Kidd. I like it. The edge probably goes to Steve Kerr based on the history. He's won so much. I mean, it is what it is. But what we've seen from Jason Kidd ain't nothing minor. He's got his team on a string. They know what they're doing defensively. They listen. They talk. And I just am overly impressed with the team defense that Dallas has played really all season. They're a good defensive team. Not to be taken lightly. Not to be taken for granted. I don't like that they rely a little too much on Reggie Bullock shooting. That's my thing. He's just a really inconsistent three-point shooter, and I hate that. But he's such a fantastic defensive player. When you leave him out there for 41 minutes, he and Dorian Finney-Smith create so many problems. And I think you're going to have to rely on those guys. Oh, and before I leave this Dorian Finney-Smith conversation, I want to make it very clear. I do believe Dorian Finney-Smith is the second best player on the Dallas Mavericks. As much as I said Jalen Brunson, this, that, and the third, Dorian Finney-Smith does far too much defensively, provides far too much on the boards, and provides far too much of a three-point threat for me to think that Jalen Brunson is actually the second most important player on this team. He's not. He's the second most important player on the offense, and because of what he does, he's going to be more of a focal point, more of a star. But Dorian is more so like and I say this without thinking about the styles, more like the Draymond in the situation, in the sense that they need him to function properly defensively. If Dorian ain't out there defensively, they're going to have trouble. So he's very important. Keeping him healthy is important. Keeping him out of foul trouble is important. So, yeah, I like the Golden State bigs in this series because I look at Kevon Looney and I say, man, could he really average 20 points, 20 rebounds in this series if they play him every game? I heard Draymond say that he and Steph Curry have both been vying for him to start in the series, start just in general. And I don't think that's a bad idea. I do understand that he's one of those bigs that you're going to have to remove when threes start raining. But he's an extremely durable guy. He's extremely physical. And he's been in the league for a long time now. He's won championship. This is a guy who's been in this Golden State system for his entire career. So at this point, he's going to be a free agent in the offseason. And I think the Golden State Warriors would be wise to make him very happy right now so that they can retain him. I think they could use him. I'm not going to say they need him, but I think he's an asset in this series. And I don't know what's going to happen with Wiseman in the future. You know what I mean? At least I know Kevon Looney, he played all 82 games this season. So I think retaining him is smart, and I think making him happy in these playoffs is smart, and I think rewarding that 20-rebound game that clinched your series was smart. So, play the man. So that's what I got to say, man. That's what I got to say, especially since he's going up against Dwight Powell. You know, if y'all follow me, y'all know if Dwight Powell see me, he probably ain't going to like me because I don't think much of his game. I know he's a defensive player, but I don't think he's that great of a defensive player. And, you know, it's like, I don't necessarily think Kevon Looney's a lesser player than him. I think Kevon Looney's probably better than him. So it's one of those situations where it's like, I want to see the Golden State Warriors bigs get all the opportunities to play. Of course, Draymond is the guy that they rely upon, but resting him in this series is smart because if they happen to move on, you do understand that defense is everything back east. So Draymond being healthy is everything. It's the difference. So play the bigs, and I think things will be on the up and up for the Golden State Warriors. All in all, looking at this series, man, I don't know. After talking about it for 30 minutes, there's so many different factors. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that actually come into play. Like, for example, if Andrew Wiggins turns into 30-point Andrew Wiggins or lockdown defender Andrew Wiggins and neutralizes, say, I don't know, if he's able to cut Brunson to like 16 points a game, yeah, they're going to win the series. You know what I mean? There are different factors, and he's more than capable of stepping it up a notch, I believe. So he will be asked to without the presence of GP2. And, with Clay struggling as he has, I think it's reasonable to think that they're going to lean on him a little more than maybe they had in the past. So, I'm looking at Wiggins and saying, okay, yeah, it's time to win, dude. You've been in this league for a long time. You started the All-Star game. Everybody know that I didn't personally think you should be, but if you can come out here and be the hero, that's a big deal. And then we think about Andre Iguodala, who's also on this Warrior team, who's dealing with a lot. I don't think he's going to be back in these playoffs. But if for some reason he is back, I don't think they should work him into the equation. I know a lot of people remember Iggy being a hero, this, that, and the third, but I think at this stage, nah, we're not there here. No. It's no. I respect that people are still there in regards to respecting his game, but I know they may, if he's available to play, they may be inclined to play him, and I think it may be something that could end the series. He is not healthy, and he's old, and I think he should be sitting. And I feel that way about everybody who's old and unhealthy. It's just Iggy, but I'm just saying, since that name is still out there, Iggy could be coming back. They better not play him. That's all I gotta say. So, that's what I got, man. That's what it is. I look at this Dallas Mavericks thing. If you're gonna make a prediction, I look at the Golden State Warriors and say they have home court advantage. At the end of the day, they do have home court advantage. They do have all the rings. You just expect their experience to ultimately and the Draymond factor, to ultimately be the difference. They're gonna scheme a way to outclass this Dallas Mavericks team that just doesn't have as many weapons as them. That's what I think is gonna happen. Now, I'm open to being wrong. In fact, I kind of hope I am wrong. I like this Dallas Mavericks team. I actually kind of want to see them have a rematch with the Heat. I don't know. Just kind of like what I'm seeing there, but I'm pessimistic. It's like I'm rooting for them, but I'm pessimistic. That's the vibe for myself personally. I like the Golden State Warriors. I think that Kuminga could be big in this series. I think that there's a potential for Dinwiddie to disappear again. It's like a lot of different things that just kind of lean toward the Warriors. At the end of the day, how many teams get blown out by 1 trillion and then come out to close the same team out? That doesn't happen too often. You know what I mean? So this is still the Warriors, man. They're gonna win this series. I say it reluctantly because I don't want them to. I can't lie to y'all. I don't lie on my channel. I want the Dallas Mavericks to take the series, but I think the Golden State Warriors are probably gonna win it in 6. That's what's probably gonna happen. It's going to come down to an amazing Game 6. Luka's probably going to have 50 points and like triple-double. But Klay Thompson's going to go for 40. And they're going to win the game. And they're going to go on to the finals. That's what I expect to happen, man. Warriors in 6. But like I said, they better find a way to guard Jalen Brunson. And obviously Luka Doncic is going to play well. He's one of the best players in the world, so you expect him to put up historic numbers. Do expect him to put up historic numbers. Do expect him to get his pound of flesh. Do expect a game winner at the buzzer or something like that from one of these superstars. That's the type of series this is. But once it gets to a Game 6, if for some reason Dallas is down, I have all the faith in the world that Game 6 Klay thing is going to happen, man. I just believe it. I believe in it. It's going to happen. So that's what I got, man. I thank you guys for rocking with me. Obviously, we're going to follow each and every game of this series. And, I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this Game 1 is on Wednesday. So, yeah, don't know what the time is, but that game should probably be in the evening, more than likely. So, that's what I got, man. BDF 44. Everybody enjoy this series. Go check out my other preview of the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. About as long as this one, too. And I could have talked for another 40 minutes, to be honest with you, about this series. I really could have, but I got to cut off somewhere, so might as well do it here, man. Warriors in 6, BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.